So this is what I made today. I spent all this time, I had my mom take care of my kids so I could make this tutorial for you. I worked really hard on it. It took me a few days to make each square, and then I did like a tutorial for one square. And then as I was editing my video, I realized that I was pausing when I was giving instruction and unpausing when I was doing things like searching for my scissors or things like that. So the video didn't work. I could redo it, but look at this awful hat. It didn't work. It's really big. I have a large head and this is extra large on me. And there's supposed to be a brim as well. So fail. I crochet failed. I crochet fail a lot. Sometimes I try things and then I put it away. I try things, I love it, and I never look at it again. I have the intention of doing tutorials for certain things that I've learned to do, but somehow I just don't seem to pick up my hook and my materials, and sometimes I will make the objects, but I fail to film it. So I could say that I'm lacking some motivation lately. I've made all of these crochet videos. I've seen lots of wonderful things being made by my viewers. And so I really want to make some videos for you, but I feel like I've lost my crojo. Is it crojo? Is that what we're saying? I feel like I've lost some motivation, and I don't seem to know why. It could just be one of these cycle things, you know, sometimes you're busy and wanting to do things, other times you have other things to do. So what do we do instead of crocheting? What do you do when you've lost your crojo and you want to get it back? Here are just a few things that I like to do. One thing is I have a lot of hobbies, crafty hobbies. I have 3 children, so when I have time, of course, I will do these hobbies. Sometimes I just find myself scrolling my phone, TikTok. TikTok is the worst. If you want to burn time, download TikTok. So I'm thinking of putting my TikTok on hold for a while so that I use my hands for the greater good instead of just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. So one of my hobbies, one of the other hobbies that I like to do is beading. So I lived in northern Canada for about 3 years, and I noticed all of the women up there were wearing beautiful handmade beaded earrings. And I said, like, where can I buy these? And a lot of the times the answer was, you can't. You have to make them, or you have to find somebody local who is making them right now and make an order and things like that. And so I was watching and looking, and I said, looking at the pattern, and I'm a pattern person. I can see a pattern. I can understand patterns. I like to watch. I'm going to take this off. I like to see how to make things. So I went on the internet. I went on YouTube. I looked at videos. I asked local people, how do you make these beautiful beaded earrings? And it took me, I sat down one time, I got all the materials that I thought I would need, and it took me approximately 8 hours to make one earring, very simple earring. But when it was done, I showed it off, and it was so exciting, like acquiring a new skill in something completely foreign to me and something that I just loved doing was so exciting. So since then, it's been about, I guess, I would say 8 years since I've learned how to bead. I've made all sorts of different earrings. I'll show you some samples. So I have a few here that I just made and have laying around. So one time I was getting interested in making costumes for Halloween, but I'm not a Halloween person. Like, I'll go out, but I won't get a costume. So I said one year, oh, I'll make a costume for myself. And so I made these earrings. And as you can see, this is my Spider-Man costume. There it is. So this is called, some people call it brick stitch. Some people call it peyote stitch. This one for me is a brick stitch fringe earring that I learned how to make. And somebody was so kind in my town here to give me a whole set of beads that they didn't want. They just gave it to me for free. So I had all these materials. I'll show you a couple more that I made. Ooh. These are supposed to be in the vein of Sailor Moon type earrings. So again, hand stitched, handmade earrings. And look, they're so nice to wear around. There you go. Beautiful. I can't really give instruction on how to do that. There is some concern that I have about beading in this style, native style or indigenous style beading. I try to make generic things like spiders or Sailor Moon or the Irish little leprechaun type thing. But I try to avoid making things that are in the vein of cultural appropriation. So that is something that I'm concerned about, and I try to avoid making things that are thematic to Aboriginal or Indigenous people in Canada. That being said, sometimes I still make them and I wear them or I give them as gifts to my friends and colleagues, but selling those items is a big no-no. So I have sold earrings in the past. Sometimes it's usually like the generic skull for Halloween. Not too many people are offended culturally if I'm selling skulls. So that's one of my hobbies that I like to do. Another thing that I like to do, I am a knitter. I know how to knit, and I do go to a knitting club fairly regularly during the school year. The summer's been a little bit busy. Every Thursday night we have a group of ladies that gets together and crochets and knits and drinks coffee, and sometimes we just gossip, but that's another thing that I like to do when I've lost my motivation. Another thing that I like to do to get my crocheting back on track, because I do love to do it, is I find small, what I call palette cleanser type patterns to do. So face cloths, making a headband, making a shawl, those ones are really good. Something that's repetitive, something I can do while I'm on the go, or something that I can do while I'm at home with my kids, which I'm often at home with my kids. I'll use those type of patterns. So right now, after trying to make this stupid hat, I'm never gonna finish this. I thought it would be cool, but it's so big and it's just not working out, and scrap. I'm done. I don't want to continue that. So this is part of my loss of crojo. So what I'm working on now as my palette cleanser to get back into crocheting, something fun, I learned a new little stitch, and I think it's called the bean stitch. So I'm working on this now. It is just a face cloth. I actually found myself watching TV, working on this, talking with the kids, stopping to make dinner, that kind of thing, and then going back to this repetitive sort of stitch. It's just, it's a single crochet and a double crochet together sort of situation. So I think I might make a video for that, and you guys could try it as well. It's very textury. It's maybe good for like a face cloth or something like that. But something just mindless that I can say, oh, just like I want to finish a project. I want it to look good. With washcloths, dishcloths, it doesn't matter. The gauge doesn't matter, the size. It's something just to get me over this hump of like nothing is working out. I've made hats. I've tried lots of things. So, you know, just trying to find some little patterns to work on. Another thing that I like to do when I'm not actually crocheting is buying, this is terrible and I'm sure that you can relate, is buying patterns. I follow people on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all the different designers. I really get into buying patterns, which is a bad habit if you're not actually making those patterns. There's a few that I love. There is one, I can't remember the name of the artist. I will insert it if I remember. There's one man, he makes patterns and he does the balloon dog, and he did like different types of fast food. I've purchased his patterns before and I used them and made things for my kids. I wish I could remember his name. I also like making toys for people. With it being summer right now, something I'm really into is going out and foraging. So by foraging, I mean going into my own backyard. I'm not going into the forest and looking for things, but my backyard is sort of like its very own wilderness. I have a mulberry tree. I have raspberry tree. I've planted some blueberries this year and hopeful that they will be abundant sometime in the next few years. But my son and I, and sometimes my daughters, but mostly me and my son, will go out and pick berries daily during this period. And I've stored them in the freezer, some fresh, but most stored in the freezer. And I went out and I started going crazy to make jam. So I had to buy jars. I had to buy a canning pot because I was borrowing a canning pot from my mom previously, and it was just, you're always going back and forth with a canning pot. Just buy one. They're $40. I think it was $40. But probably get them cheaper, but I just went to Canadian Tire. I got a food mill, I got pectin, and I had a whole 2 weeks of jam making time. So that really took up a lot of my time. I was crocheting so much during that time. Just trying to keep busy and doing the mom things. I am a teacher, so during the school year, I'm often quite busy. This past school year was quite a long one for me, and I sort of lost my momentum with my crocheting and my YouTube, and I kind of lost it along the way, and I'm trying to gain it back. So we're going to go on and make some dishcloths. We're going to have some nice palette cleansers. I know I see people often wanting to do small, more easily completed projects. I see a lot of people have been making the 3 square granny square purse. A lot of people have been making the 3 square granny square purse that I have posted. It's actually quite a very popular video, and I'm so happy that you guys are following along and you're trying these things. And it's a finished project. I love that it's simple. I love that it's attainable. And I love that it's a stepping stone to more crocheting. This pattern behind me, this is called The Rings of Change by Frank Odell. And Frank Odell, I think his name is Frank Odell. He is on Ravelry, or his pattern's on Ravelry. He has a free version of this, and his patterns are sort of like a sampler. It's like a mandala blanket, and every stitch you can think of, he puts into his patterns, and that's where I learned how to do a lot of my stitches. That's where I learned how to do a lot of my stitches. It's from taking something that was intentionally a sampler. And if you buy his pattern too, it goes really big. I just did the sample size, and he has links to every stitch, every difficult stitch. He has links to it in his patterns. So I highly recommend, if you're looking to expand your stitch vocabulary, your stitch library, it's really nice to do some kind of sampler type blanket. I don't currently have one on the go, but I'm also thinking to do maybe a granny square sampler blanket. That way, you have a small project, and when you put it together with other small projects, it becomes one big thing that you can have for yourself. You can give to somebody else, or something to be proud of, and something to account for your time at home. Something else that I like to do to try and get over lack of motivation with crafting and being creative is going outside. Spending enough time, finding myself bored at home, or finding myself unmotivated at home, just getting outside, spending time with my kids out in the sun, doing what I can do just to refresh and restart. I hope that in the future I can make a lot more videos for you guys. I hope that you can give me some ideas. What are you interested in learning? I do a lot of toy making, a lot of doll making. I do buy patterns. I can make some videos with pattern recommendations that are a little bit more prepared. But really, it's just such a fun hobby to have. My crocheting started, I started learning to crochet when I was pregnant with my first daughter. That was she's almost 12 now. So let's say 13 years. I've been crocheting for 13 years. And I just learned so I could have something to do while my babies were small. And now it's become sort of like a second job. I just want to say thank you to everybody who has been following along. Hopefully we can get our crojo back together. Let me know. Send me some comments. What do you do when you are lacking some motivation? Do you watch TikTok videos of people crocheting? Do you avoid it? Do you take a break for a month and then go back? What do you do when you feel your creativity is just drained out of you? What are some techniques that you use? So I do watch other people crocheting. I don't know why I do it. I find it soothing. I find it relaxing. Sometimes even when I'm editing my own videos, I'll find myself like dozing off. Like, it's relaxing to watch somebody crochet. I hope it's not too boring, but maybe that's the case. I'd really love to learn how to sew someday. It's not my forte. I can put a basic lining in a basic bag. I can almost get a zipper in. Like I have a couple of videos where I did put a zipper, but it was under much duress. You know, it was very stressful. I wasn't able to do it in an easy way. I don't know. I would love to make more videos where we can just talk, where I can make a video where we're chatting. Maybe give each other some motivation. I do have a Facebook page. It is called Mrs. Stewart's Crochet Club. It's on Facebook. I think it's an open thing. I didn't set the privacy. I'm not very techie. I would really love to learn how to make a website where I could put written patterns. That really escapes me. I don't really know how to do that very well. Maybe I'll take a course or something. Do you need a course? I don't even know. I probably need a computer. I don't use a computer. I had one, but it was stolen. Somebody took it out of my car. So everything is pretty much done on my phone. So I would love to one day have maybe even Etsy to sell small products and things like that. I would love to know if you have a hobby of selling, making and selling. How do you do it? How is that done? I see so many people talking about how they made so much money on Etsy, or how they made so much money at these sales. I did a sale once. I tried to sell earrings that I made. And it was like, I think I sold one pair to my mom's friend, and then I never did a market ever again. We could do some videos about market things to sell at a market. Maybe I'll do some research and we'll get into that. Anyway, I have not much else to say. I'm really sorry that I haven't made a video lately. Again, I tried. This didn't work. Up next, in the next day or so, I hope to have a restart dishcloth, face cloth, friendly pattern for you to follow along. Thank you so much for joining. I hope to see you soon. Please leave me some messages, like, subscribe, do all of the things that make things successful. I just wanted to come on and say thank you to everybody. I have nearly 6,000 subscribers. I could be talking to 6,000 people right now. I have nearly 6,000 subscribers, and I can't believe it. I started this crochet channel just by, I had a student who encouraged me to do it, and I said, no way, I can't do that. I'm not techie. I don't know about these things. Who would like to learn from me? That didn't seem like a thing, but to have 6,000 people who've clicked that box, who said that they want to learn something from me, it is so amazing. I love it. It's such a great hobby. If you are like me and you love crochet and you're interested in making a YouTube channel, I say go for it. It is very gratifying. It is very fun. And even though I'm in a slump right now with my crocheting, I'll get it back, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you. Bye.